Hello everyone, my name is Joop and I'm the Managing Partner for Plug and Play in Asia Pacific. Thank you for joining us over the next few days at our virtual APAC Summit as we come towards the end of 2020. 2020 has been a strange and interesting year for all of us, with COVID-19 impacting everyone around the world. Plug and Play is the world's largest open innovation platform, and a lot of our activities and programs are high touch, involving lots of physical interaction at events and programs all around the world. Since the pandemic started, I'm happy to say that we have virtualized almost all of our offerings, such as selection days, focus weeks during our accelerator programs, conferences and summits like this one, and interactions between startups and corporations. Out here in Asia Pacific, we launched our regional investment office in Singapore in 2010, and we have come a long way since then. Today, we are more than 50 team members across 4 cities in the region. We work closely with more than 40 corporate partners here, and we manage over 45 startup investments. Over the next few days, you will hear and see highlights from 10 of our programs in the region. These would range from vertical-specific programs, such as financial services in Singapore, to smart cities in Thailand, to specialized programs like our Global Innovation Alliance in Indonesia, and dedicated regional programs such as our Facebook Accelerator and Alliance to End Plastic Waste program. As we come towards the end of 2020 and we look forward towards 2021, we are full of hope and excitement. We are confident that next year will be a great one. Please tune in for more announcements on new programs, locations, and activities from Plug and Play Asia Pacific over the next few weeks, and we hope you enjoy your time over the next few days. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Karina. I'm the Director of Operations for Plug and Play here in Asia Pacific. I also look after our End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform in Singapore. Together with my colleague Henry, we'll be your host for today. Before we begin, I would like to invite Matthew Claxton, the Global Director for Plug and Play Sustainability Program, to share with you a little more. Matt, please.
Thanks, Karina. So for those of you who do not know, my name is Matthew Claxton. I'm the Global Director of Sustainability, and I cannot be more thrilled and excited for you all to be here today to see the graduation of these 11 amazing startups from the 3-month accelerator program, and to hear a mini panel from the different panel members that have been working with us over the last 3 months with these startups. So for those of you who are new to this program, I just want to spend a few minutes going over Plug and Play, going over the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, and our journey together on how we got to this point. So Plug and Play is a global innovation program. We work with VCs, nonprofits, mentors, startups, universities, and large organizations all around the world, bringing them together onto one platform. And what we've done over the last 12 years is built one of the largest global innovation platforms in the world. And we cannot be more thrilled and excited about that, especially with all the activities we're doing in investing, in working with startups, and in working with corporations. So Plug and Play actually has 3 main functions to it. So first off, we are a VC firm. To date, we have invested in about 1,600 startups around the world. We do about 200 to 250 investments per year in pre-seed, seed, and Series A companies. You've probably heard of some of our notable companies that we've invested in, such as PayPal, Google, Dropbox, Danger, Rappi, Guardian Health, London Club, and one of our most recent unicorns, Honey, which was just acquired by PayPal for $4 billion. We're very excited about that. On top of that, we do corporate innovation, where we are working with over 400 corporations around the world across numerous different industry sectors and helping them with their innovation journey, helping them get connected with startups from all walks of life, from all over the world, all with the hope of really moving their innovation journey forward and helping them, really change the world with some exciting ideas. And lastly, we run over 60 accelerator programs per year, where we are working hand in hand with startups and corporations to really accelerate the growth of these startups and help them get their solutions and ideas to market even faster. So Plug and Play currently has 32 offices around the world, and we're operating across 17 different industry verticals, working with over 36,000 startups. And, but that's Plug and Play as a whole. But today I wanted to focus a little bit about sustainability. So our journey started with the Alliance to End Plastic Waste back in October of last year, where we officially kicked off our efforts together and launched the End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform. So for those of you who are new to what the Alliance is, it's a consortium of about 50 companies from all around the world, from different parts of the plastics value chain, that have each contributed somewhere between $10 and $50 million into a collective fund. Through that vehicle, Plug and Play has started the Accelerator program, where we are finding solutions from around the world. We are finding these startups, helping them grow, all with the hopes, of member companies working with these startups, with them investing into these startups, with Plug and Play investing into these startups, and with hopes that the Alliance will also participate in the funding of these innovative ideas and solutions. So back in February of this year, we launched our first program in Silicon Valley. We then kicked off our second program in Paris back in late April, and we kicked off this Hubs program back in late August with an exciting group of startups. So the main focus of this End Plastic Waste program is looking at waste collection, sorting, processing, advanced recycling, both mechanical and chemical, the financial incentives to bring back plastic in a responsible way, waste material exchange, which is a marketplace between the waste collectors and the waste purchasers, and lastly, river pollution prevention. We really want to focus on preventing plastic waste from ending up in our rivers and ultimately in our ocean. So we've been finding and deploying a lot of very interesting solutions to capture it at its source, preventing it from going out into the ocean. So how this process started was earlier this year, Plug and Play did its own sourcing and a call for applications for startups around the world to apply to be part of this program. We then shortlisted it to an elite list of 50 companies in this area that focus on the focus areas I just mentioned. And then that was narrowed down to the top 20 startups from our panel members. What you're seeing here is an example of our Paris program, actually. And from these 20, we narrowed it down to a top 11 after a selection day, and then these 11 have been with us on the journey over the last 3 months. So today you're going to hear from startups that have been doing a lot of exciting work on sourcing, on sorting, on gathering plastic waste, on transforming it into different value goods, and most importantly, cleaning it up from our waterways so it doesn't get into our oceans. So over these last really 9-10 months of working with the Alliance, Plug and Play and the Alliance End Plastic Waste have reviewed over 2,000 startups. Today we've accelerated 32 startups, and we're proud to say that there is currently 50 ongoing pilots, and $3 million of capital have been deployed into these startups. And lastly, we led one of the largest global cleanup campaigns with one of our batch companies from Silicon Valley and the entire Alliance End Plastic Waste network, where we were able to collect about 1 million pieces of litter from around the world in just a few weeks. We cannot be more thrilled and proud, and we can't wait to see what other new initiatives come out of this collaboration together. And some of what I mentioned is starting to become more and more public. What you see here is just a handful of the relevant case studies between member companies of the Alliance and some of the startups that have been coming through our program. And we invite you to join us for future events where you hear about more and more of these great activities from this collaboration together. So, lastly, I did want to say this isn't really the end of the program, but this is really just the beginning, because not only will we still be working with these startups, but Plug and Play and the Alliance End Plastic Waste are actually doubling down its efforts. And we'll be launching our Shanghai program actually tomorrow with a very special event that we all invite you to attend. And then mid Q1 to early Q3 of next year, we'll be launching our Sao Paulo office to find solutions for the Latin America market, and we'll be launching our Johannesburg office for Africa. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to figure out how to get involved, or you're just passionate to learn more about what we're doing with the Alliance End Plastic Waste or in our sustainability program, please do not hesitate to reach out. So with that, I'd love to pass it back to Karina. Take it away.
Thank you, Matt, for the very inspiring sharing for our Plug and Play sustainability program. Next, I'd like to invite Nicholas Kolesh, Vice President for Projects from the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, to give our opening keynote. Nicholas, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Kolesh and I'm the Vice President of Projects at the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. We are the global partner to the Plug and Play End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the biannual Plug and Play APAC Summit. On this platform, we've taken startups out of their offices, labs, and yes, even their garages, and we've brought them here on this journey with us. Over the next 3 days, you will hear, learn, and engage with 100 startups on technologies to end plastic waste leaking into the environment. But more importantly, how these technologies are turning plastic waste into a valuable resource. Since the 2000s, there have been extraordinary acceleration in the innovation space. The digital age has revolutionized everything, and words like disruption and innovation are today the status quo. In fact, the combination of disruption and innovation has helped us tackle very complex challenges and is needed more than ever to manage plastic waste pollution. Partnering with Plug and Play, we launched the End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform across 3 hubs in Silicon Valley, Paris, and Singapore. And every one of them share our vision. But let's remember this, ending plastic waste is just the beginning of the road to circular economies. Today, innovators and visionaries are coming on this journey with us. Some might call them dreamers, but we call them change makers. Backed by some of the biggest names in the plastic value chain, this is where the Alliance links the best ideas with the expertise and resources needed for ideas to become reality. So change can happen, and solutions can become scalable. Collaboration comes in many different forms. Traditionally, companies and institutions come together to collaborate, working with each other and joining forces to find solutions. The number of voluntary, multi-stakeholder initiatives to address plastic pollution has never been more robust than in the last 5 years. Yet the numbers on plastic waste keep rising. According to the Pew Systemic 2020 report, 11 million tons of plastic waste leak into the ocean every year. And if we do nothing, that number will increase to 29 million tons by 2040. Over 3 billion people still do not have access to organized waste management systems in their communities. The lack of municipal waste management systems is causing waste to be illegally dumped, openly burned, or eventually enter the environment. You often hear us talk about strong leadership and swift action. Acting fast means thinking globally and acting locally. We have to be the one on the ground, working with the problem solvers, community leaders, and businesses to find real-world solutions. Today, the Alliance has put into place a robust and holistic approach to the plastic waste challenge, grounded on 4 pillars: infrastructure, innovation, education and engagement, and cleanup. Innovation is the bridge to real solutions fast, and innovative ideas must come from across the globe, so solutions are relevant to local needs and serve communities in the long term. " 2019 was the year we launched the End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform with Plug and Play. Since then, we've attracted over 2,000 startups across 3 hubs in Silicon Valley, Paris, and Singapore, and we have placed 32 of them on accelerator programs. And more than $3 million in capital have been invested and deployed into the startups, with over 50 commercial pilots between startups and Alliance member companies. One such example is Circularize, a startup from our Paris hub that has already partnered with Covestro and Domo Chemicals. Circularize is developing a prototype that will set a standard for transparency within the plastics industry using blockchain technology. Another success story is OceanWorks. OceanWorks is collaborating with Avient Corporation through the launch of several new post-consumer recycled, post-industrial recycled portfolios under the Resound brand name. OceanWorks developed a PCR grade with recycled ocean plastics. These grades are formulated for consumer applications and can be used in personal care products, lawn and garden tools, outdoor goods, office supplies, footwear, and household durables. Not least, we are also delighted to introduce Literati, a startup from our Silicon Valley hub. Literati is an app that empowers individuals to make a significant, measurable impact on the environment. The Alliance and our member companies have already started working with Literati on the World Cleanup Day 2020. Together, we've created a campaign to clean the world, one piece of litter at a time. From one campaign, we've expanded our relationship with Literati, and in the future, you will experience the Literati app with the addition of education elements, machine learning technology to characterize litter, and gamification to engage users. Each of these success stories have encouraged us to do more, and it confirms the fact that collaboration is key if solutions are to happen fast. Our progress with Plug and Play has been truly amazing. And like we said before, we must think globally and act locally because ideas can come from everywhere. Hence, we're proud to be expanding our collaboration into 3 more locations with hubs in Shanghai, Sao Paulo, and Johannesburg. Startups in these locations with ideas and solutions in sustainability or plastic waste minimization can now access world-class resources and expertise through the Accelerator platform. There is now an entry point to the experience of our member companies representing the full plastic value chain. This is yet another exciting new phase for the Alliance and Plug and Play, and we're thrilled to be on the beginning of yet another journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. After hearing from both Matt and Nicholas, now let's hear from our startups. In this batch, we have selected startups that focus mainly on collection, end use, river cleanup, and sorting. Data is difficult to harness, and there are far too much plastic waste being mismanaged that leaks into the environment. In this batch, we have startups Bintix and the Shiva robotics system that would like to bring data into waste management. In helping to inspire waste sorting and recycling, we have startup that looks at waste collection system, such as Plastic for Change and Rico system. Plastic still has its value after its first use. Recovering and extracting this value is a critical outcome for a circular supply chain. In this batch, we have startup that look at specifically this area of interest, namely AP Chemi, BlockTex, Banyan Nation, Myanmar Recycle, and Polycycle. Finally, looking at river cleanup, we have Bluefin, where they will share a little more about their smart robot in commercial water bodies. Alright, now without further ado, let's bring out our very first startup from India, AP Chemi. AP Chemi is a leading technology and machinery supplier for recycling end-of-life plastic waste. Let's welcome AP Chemi.
Hi, I'm Suhas Dikshit, CEO of AP Chemi, a chemist as well as an entrepreneur. I founded AP Chemi in 2007 with a vision to recycle plastics transparently. At a great environmental cost, more than 300 million tons of plastic waste is dumped or burnt yearly. To solve plastic pollution problem, aggressive environmental legislations like plastic tax and EPR are being adopted globally. Plastic is manufactured from crude oil, hence it can be converted back into oil. Pyrolysis is the only scalable and circular economy solution for mechanically non-recyclable plastic waste. Since last 12 years, AP Chemi has been innovating and pushing commercialization of pyrolysis. We are leaders in pyrolysis with over 30 commercial scale pyrolysis plants commissioned till date. We have published 7 pyrolysis patents, including a breakthrough technology for pyrolysis of PET containing multilayer packaging. Our technology is being commercially used for pyrolysis of multi-layer plastic waste. Our technology is also chemically recycling mixed post-consumer plastic waste at a commercial scale. AP Chemi technology also produces Euro 6 quality biofuels at a commercial scale. AP Chemi is supported by Royal Dutch Shell for technology and business development. We are part of Startup Acceleration Program of Alliance to End Plastic Waste. We sponsor research at Institute of Chemical Technology. Our global clients include Equate, Uflex, and CPE. And with Green Jewels, we produce Euro 6 quality biofuels. AP Chemi has a solid team of 45, with a plan to expand to 100 colleagues by end of 2021. I drive both business as well as R&D initiatives. I work closely with Vijay, who has over 40 years of EPC experience in petrochemicals. And Aruna ensures that all company operations are sustainable and scalable. Our ongoing as well as upcoming projects include several pyrolysis plants of up to 50 tons per day for the UK, Kuwait, Zambia, and India. We have achieved average revenue of $1.3 million in past 4 years and a firm visibility of $10 million in next 2 years. Our exponential growth will come from developing our own 50 tons per day single reactor pyrolysis technology, which in turn will drive our technology licensing business globally. We plan to license technology to over 100 chemical recycling projects for plastic waste by 2025. AP Chemie directly caters to the upcoming $12 billion pyrolysis technology market, and we also work with local partners to serve the upcoming $100 billion plastic pyrolysis market. With our proven technology and passion for pyrolysis, we are confident of reaching $700 million of revenue in next 5 years. For the first time, we have opened investment round. Come and be our partners in this success. AP Chemie's total ask is $5 million, out of which $3 million for technology scale up, $500,000 for R&D, and $1.5 million for human resource and infrastructure. Thank you. Any questions, please?
Our next startup is also from India. We have Banyang Nation. They would like to unlock the market for premium recycled plastics through technology innovation across the value chain.
Hi, I'm Mani Vajpayee. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Banyang Nation. We are a plastics recycling company. We're based out of India. We work with large multinationals such as Unilever, Reckitt, Tata Motors, and help them use more recycled plastic instead of virgin plastic. Today, circular economy in plastics is a huge opportunity and a major problem as well. Opportunity because dozens of large companies have pledged to replace 25% of their virgin plastic consumption with recycled plastic. However, in countries such as India, Indonesia, and much of Southeast Asia, the collection of discarded plastics is driven by informal recyclers. They lack the technology, scale, and the technical competence to produce high quality granules for mainstream packaging and products. Over the past 7 years, we at Banyan have developed two pioneering solutions. One, a data intelligence platform to integrate thousands of informal recyclers and bring stability to the supply chain. A second one is the plastic cleaning technology that eliminates contaminants from collected plastics like labels, adhesives, and remnant products. We've raised about $7.5 million in the past few years and built a state-of-the-art facility about 100,000 square feet in Hyderabad. We wash the plastic and eliminate contaminants, reducing the contaminant level to less than 1%. Our granules are REACH and Connect certified. We have signed massive contracts with Unilever and Reckitt to the tune of 18,000 tons over 3 years. That amounts to about $20 million. And we have several other companies in the pipeline as well. Our customers love us because they get our recycled plastic for no extra cost to virgin plastic. Our recycled plastic is of very high quality and blends nicely with virgin plastic. And as a result, when we send our materials to our converters to make bottles, they do not have to change any settings in their machines, and they do not have any additional faults or failure rates in the bottles. The bottles made from our recycled plastics can be recycled several times over. And as we built this business, we are doing a lot of social good as well. We have over 50,000 plus informal recyclers who directly and indirectly benefit from our supply chain. Some of our recyclers, in fact, earn over 10 cents extra per kilo of materials that they trade with us. At full scale, that translates to over $750,000 in extra earnings for our informal recycler network. The other important factor of our business is our machines are extremely energy efficient, but more importantly, the groundwater in India is pretty contaminated. So we take the groundwater out, we treat the groundwater, and we recycle the water after the washing is done, thereby minimizing the amount of water consumption on a per kilo basis. Today, we've de-risked the system and we've set up a state-of-the-art facility and we've signed long-term contracts and we've set up a massive supply chain. And thanks to our team, today we are at a position to massively scale the business at a very profitable unit economic model. So we are looking to raise about $3 million today. And the funds will be utilized for three purposes. One is to enhance the quality of materials further and actually get us US FDA approvals. Second thing is we want to invest in machines that improve the performance quality of the materials, but also reduce the operational cost, increasing the operational efficiencies as well. And we are flexible in terms of the nature of the instrument. And if our business model and our traction piques your interest, we'd love to have further conversations with you. Thank you so much.
Our next startup would like to bring data into waste management, where household waste are recycled and it doesn't end up in the landfill. Let's bring it up for Bintix.
Hello everyone, this is Roshan Miranda, founder of Bintix. My other two co-founders, Jay and Udit, could not join me today because they're scattered in different cities in India, trying to scale up our operations there. Three of us come from a very diverse background. Udit comes from a tech background. He has been working in Silicon Valley for more than 10, 12 years now. Jay has established multiple R&D research centers for top pharma companies in India. I myself have been co-founder of another waste management company for the last many years. Before that, I have had a management consulting experience. Now, one thing that ties us together is that we believe that we need to think radically when it comes to any problem. And we also believe that waste management is a good sector for us to explore and extend our thinking. I'll tell you what I mean by it. In India, there is a thinking that certain kind of plastic is very high value plastic. For example, these kind of bottles are very high value compared to these plastics, which are kind of very low value plastics. And hence, these plastic bottles might be really picked up by waste pickers or any collection agency otherwise really well and recycled really well. Whereas these flexible plastics might either get leftover festering on the roadsides or maybe burnt or maybe dumped into landfill or water bodies. Now, this collection bias exists not only in India, maybe in most developing countries, even in developed countries for that matter. In certain countries, this might be high value compared to this bottle, or maybe this is high value compared to this. Now, fundamental reason why such a bias exists is because the way we ascribe value to these plastics. And I think that classical thinking needs to be explored beyond. We need to explore beyond that classical thinking for us to kind of ascribe more value to these plastics. I'll tell you what I mean by it. In Bintix, the moment we look at this plastic bottle, we believe that somebody has consumed a water bottle. The moment we look at this bottle, we believe that somebody has used a body lotion. Now, any plastic piece is for us a consumer consumption information. And that ascribes a data value to plastics beyond the material value. Of course, recycling has been fundamental and core to managing these plastics. But when it comes to value, we need to ascribe it differently. For example, if you were to take kilograms of plastic, it might give us $0.25 or maybe $1 at the highest value. Now, if we were to look at the data coming from plastic, that would be 10x more, $10 for the same kilogram of plastic. If we can derive meaningful insights from that data, that would be $100, 100x more than what a material value can bring in. Now, that data can be monetized in various different forms. It can be data for market research companies, market research for pharma companies, for FMCG companies. It can be data that we can use to make targeted marketing and explore marketing of these various different households. It can be data that we can use for brand audits or sustainability audits of various pharma companies or maybe for FMCG companies. It can be the data that we can use for reverse vending machine. The application of the data is just tremendous. As long as we can think that waste is not just a material or a service, it's also a data point. We have built this data in collaboration with Unilever. For the last 2 years, we recently got Kellogg's as our first customer. We have a very, very strong pipeline of customers, including Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, L'Oreal, or even Hershey's. And we're trying to scale up into 8 more cities and 35,000 households, when we hope to collaborate with you in our effort to make sure we derive a new value to this waste and transform the way the plastic waste management works in India. Thank you.
Moving to the UAE, our next startup is a smart robot that collects floating waste in commercial water bodies. Let's welcome Bluefin.
8 million tons of plastic is leaked into our ocean. That is equivalent to 1 garbage truck full of plastic being dumped into our ocean every minute. And if we keep going, that is going to be 2 by 2030 and 4 by 2050. At which point, we're going to have more plastic in our ocean than fish. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a direct result of this, and it is the largest of its kind, with more than 90% of its waste coming from only 10 major rivers. And despite the world being in lockdown over the last 6 months, we have seen an increase in ocean pollution in the form of disposable masks, gloves, and PPE kits. We made plastic. We depend on plastic. And now we're quite literally drowning in plastic. Bluefin was born out of necessity because we believe prevention is the solution. Bluefin is an aqua drone that collects floating and flood debris in water bodies. We can collect solid waste such as plastic, biomass such as algae, and water quality data such as pH and temperature. Bluefin can run an 8-hour zero carbon emission operation with a basket capacity up to 42 gallons. We can run in both manual and autopilot mode. In our manual mode, we remote control it, and in our autopilot mode, we leverage geofencing and waypoint mapping to create a route for Bluefin. We tested Bluefin, and we learned a lot. Every location has unique requirements in the form of the waste that it's dealing with. For example, in a particular location, they may primarily be dealing with construction or plastic waste, while in another, water hyacinth. These same locations also have varying currents and tidal strengths. This is why we made Bluefin 2.0. Our modular approach helps us maximize Bluefin's impact at a lower marginal cost. With our plug-and-play design, Bluefin can extend battery life up to 10 hours and collect up to 1 ton of waste with a single Bluefin. On the software side of things, we have introduced low battery mode, anti-collision, and started building the foundation of our completely autonomous Bluefin with a proprietary waste detection algorithm. Bluefin is up to 50% more cost-effective than a manual operation, up to 85% more efficient, and 100% carbon neutral. Our business model is simple. We can sell Bluefin with a maintenance contract and even provide Bluefin as a service. We have only one competitor in the market, Wayshark, and we pride ourselves on differentiating on product design, affordability, and being a youth-led startup that puts the SDGs at its core. We have raised up to $50,000 in grant money by winning the pitch competition at the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival and the Unilever's Young Entrepreneur Board. We've also signed an MOU with BIA and are on track to now create the full-scale prototype for our Bluefin 2.0. We are also working on securing pilots and hitting our target by the Q2 of 2021 of collecting 10,000 tons of waste in a single location. To make this happen, we need your support in the form of corporate partnerships, expert mentors, and sponsors to cover our operational cost. My name is Simran, and this is Habib. Now it's your choice, planet or plastic. Thank you.
Before we hear from the rest of the startup, we have put together a short panel discussion where we will hear from our panel members their journey with our startups in the last 3 to 4 months. Let's welcome the speakers of the panel. This panel will be moderated by Matt. Matt, over to you.
Thanks, Karina. Welcome, everyone. We have a mini panel that consists of a few of the panelists from our End Plastic Waste Singapore program. They've been working with the startups over the last 3 months, and we've invited them here today to kind of share a little bit about themselves, their experience, and some of the exciting new initiatives that they're working on with some of the startups in this space. So before we really get into the heart of the discussion, I'd just like to pass it along to the panel members to introduce themselves and their companies, and maybe share a little bit about their excitement of being part of this program. So I'd love to kick it off to Estelle from Veolia. Estelle?
Hello, good morning, everybody. Estelle, I'm based in Hong Kong. I'm the VP of Plastic Recycling Development for Veolia Asia. So I've been in this developing business for 5 years. And before that, I was also in the Virgin Compounding Company. So Veolia is a waste management service providing company for over 168 years. So from our municipal waste collection business, we developed also the plastic recycling. So we integrate more in the downstream of a plastic recycling business. And in the past 5 years, our business, our volumes in plastic recycling has been growing like 10 times in the past 5 years. So very glad that we joined this program, because it's really a way for us to accelerating our pace in this field.
Thank you. Norman?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Norman here. I'm with the Chevron Phillips Chemical Company. I'm based in Singapore. I'm the Sustainability Director for Asia. I've been with the company for more than 37 years in various different roles. Now, Chevron Phillips Chemical is a resin producer. We're not so much into the recycling space as of today, but I think some of you may be aware that recently we have announced that we commercialized our first chemical recycling production in the US itself. So we're trying to do our part in advancing the polymer or plastic circular economy, so to speak. Yeah.
Thank you. Anne? Anne, did you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Hello, this is Han Zhang. I'm the Asia Pacific Sustainability Director for Dow. I'm based in Singapore. So Dow, as one of the largest plastic producer, we take sustainability very, very seriously. Not only we have 10 years sustainability goals, but also we recently launched aggressive circular economy targets. So by 2030, we will help stop the waste by enabling 1 million metric tons of plastic to be collected, reused, or recycled through our direct actions and partnership. And also by 2035, we will have a closed loop by enabling 100% of our products sold into packaging applications to be reusable or recyclable. Those are very aggressive targets. We cannot achieve it alone. That's why we very appreciate this plug and play program, and we want to engage more startups and work together to achieve a circular economy.
Great. No, yeah, that's definitely the mission of this program, is we want to get everyone involved. So lastly, I'd love to turn it over to Ramesh from Pepsi.
Hey everyone, Ramesh here. I work with Pepsi and I am leading the packaging sustainability efforts for PepsiCo Foods across Asia, Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa, and the Asia Pacific markets. Happy to be on this program. It is a great experience working with the startups, and as all of us know, the hard goals that we have, the challenging goals that we have, as Norman, as Han put it, it's absolutely essential that we do a cross-stakeholder, multifunctional collaboration to reach our goals, and hence this has been a great platform.
That's great to hear. So all of you are member companies of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. You're all on a mission to end plastic waste around the world and really take it from something that's being thrown on the streets or in the ocean or just sent to landfills and really create some new value out of it. And, as a few of you have already mentioned, these are very difficult targets and these are very difficult problems to solve. And so that's where we want to bring in startups. This is actually our third program. So we had our Silicon Valley program, we had our Paris program, and now working with startups in Southeast Asia, for our Singapore program. So, you've been working all with us for over the last 3 months, seeing a lot of different startups from around the region, meeting one-on-one with these different startups. So I'd love to, some of you already touched on this, but I think Norman and Estelle, I'd love to just hear a little bit more about your experience in working with the startups and, being part of this program. So maybe, sorry, Estelle, I'm going to go ladies first. I can pass it on to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Matthew. So as I mentioned, almost in 2015, so 5 years ago, Veolia only has 6 plants. Just gonna give you some figures for the scale that we have today. So we have today 31 plants. So this is very crazy growth for us. However, we think that the plastic recycling business is no more as it was before. So a business in the garage and very small dispatched business, which do not exceed 200 kilometers. However, today, the needs from the market, the consciousness from also the consumers make this demand so huge that we are obliged to make this revolutionary change for the market. And accordingly, for Veolia strategy, Veolia faces a lot of challenges in this business also. Although we are a waste management company, we get used to the collections. However, we should say that we should admit that in Southeast Asia countries, the collection models are so different. They're more like informal collection dominated, and that's where we face challenges how to reach certain levels of quality and quantity of plastic waste, in fact, and to valorize more plastic waste in order to reduce the plastic waste in the world leaked in the environment. So our challenges in how to organize more efficiently the collections, chemical recycling also, because they are very hard to recycle mechanically plastic waste portion, and also increase the traceability, which is a huge need from the consumers. And I think that's why we find this program so valuable for us, because for Veolia, honestly speaking, our strategy in innovation does not depend on a lot of internal research. In fact, we got used to these kind of incubation, acceleration programs. However, it's also the first time that we are being, called for a lot of startups to gather together and like a thorough research for us in this region, because although we have this experience, we know that there are a lot of difficulties for us when we are in a country where we don't have activities. So it's sometimes very slow, and we are not so sure if we got access to the key startups and the key innovators on the market. And that's why we feel this program really accelerate and open our eyes for these kind of incubation programs. In a very short period of time.
I mean, that's absolutely great to hear. And you touched a little bit on, consumers are kind of demanding this. Norman, I think your company, I mean, all of you guys, your companies have also probably seen and heard the same thing where consumers are really demanding this. Norman's probably one of the major reasons why they set up the advanced recycling facility in North America. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience with the program, especially with, the nuances that go into tackling plastic waste in Southeast Asia and how it's different from North America or Europe or South America or Africa.
I think we see a lot of development in Europe so far, and then I wouldn't say for Asia it's kind of a little bit lagging behind, but ultimately we all know that the demand from the stakeholders will come to Asia as well, and we're already seeing that happening. Let me just talk a little bit about my experience. I'm familiar with the concept of incubator network and that kind of thing, but for me personally, this is the first time that I participate. So I would say I sum up my experience as a positive one so far, and it was very exciting, very fulfilling to engage with like-minded and passionate people. They are working very, very hard in this space, trying to find solution to the waste problem and also increase recycling, as well as moving us closer to the plastic circular economy. Like I say, we are a resin producer. We are only part of the supply or value chain, so we need all the people to work together in order to solve the problem. And it's very heartening to see that there are a lot of startups out there that's working very hard towards the same goal. I would say that the one challenge for me thus far, was to select the startup from the initial list of 50 to go down to the 10 or 11 for the 90 days program. Now, although we ended up with 11 instead of 10, but then I would say that I still love to see a lot more that out there that we can include in the program. But I know the constraint that we have. So I guess my message today to the startup out there, especially for those that were not selected for the program, is that don't lose heart. Press on. Keep the same drive and passion that you have demonstrated so far. I guess what I would say is that dare to dream for all the startups out there, regardless of whether you have been selected for the 90 days program or you were not. Continue to press on.
Yeah, that's a great message. I saw Ramesh and Han. You guys were shaking your heads in agreement on that. Yes, there was a voting process to get down to kind of a group of 10 or 11 startups. We decided on 11 for this program. But I think Ramesh and Han, you guys have actually been working with some of the startups that didn't make it into the program. And that's absolutely great to hear. And we, Plug and Play, have been working with those startups as well. So maybe I'd pass it on to you guys to talk a little bit about, some of the activities that you actually have with the startups. So me, Ramesh, I can turn it over to you. If you care to share with some of the, newer initiatives and exciting initiatives that you have with the startups, either in the program or even maybe outside the program. You're on mute.
Sorry, my apologies. Speaking on mute. I think to start off with, a great and enriching experience. I mean, it was about bringing perspectives together for me. Some perspectives which were clear from the startup side, some perspectives which we, as the industry stakeholder network, we had some other perspectives of the same situation. So discussing business cases and bringing options was enriching, to say the least. The quality of ideas that I came across these startups was no less than any global norm. In fact, much I can put my head and say some of them were really best in class. The other bill that I would have is somehow this is a subjective statement. There was a lot of focus on cost and practicality that the startups already had. So you're like starting from a point where you always would reach somewhere. So that journey was quite fast for me. What I've been working on in some cases is we're trying to look at potentially bringing up a business case opportunity for a recycling setup in India, where if brand owners now do collect and dispose of hard to recycle plastic waste. How can we bring that up the waste hierarchy from say converting from waste to energy to cement kilns, moving that up to a recycling chain and doing that viably. Some of these startups actually have good potential in that domain. Of course, further work needs to be done on chiseling out a business case that suits every part of the value chain. That's one. The other one is, which I felt fairly strongly about, was bringing emerging technologies, or I should say technologies that have not still yet been proven, but giving them an opportunity to get a proof of concept on the board. So stuff like sorting technology for flexible waste based on brands. Of course, you hear a lot about these on one of the biggest challenges of flexible packaging, getting into any recycling stream, whether mechanical, solvent, or chemical, being that the material identification is a problem. Are there better solutions to get there? And that's some good work that we're doing there. The other one is about on, say, stuff like de-inking, delaminating, and solvent dissolution technologies. Another area where there have been some work in Europe, but there are startups who have the idea. And that's another part of the discussion that I want to bring. It's not always necessary that what the startup comes to you for is actually what you require. It's actually their pipelines and their thought process, the ingenuity they bring into their thinking that makes the benefit. For me, that's a big learning for me.
Mm. So, in that you actually kind of touched on a few different parts of the plastics value chain, kind of showing the complexity of it and how many, issues there are in trying to actually tackle this overall problem of plastic waste. And Dow has been, a panel in the US program. I know you guys have already been interacting with startups from the Silicon Valley program, from the Paris program. But I'd love to learn a little bit more about what you have been doing with some of the startups that have come out of the Singapore program on tackling, some of these very vast issues in the plastics value chain.
Sure. First, let me congratulate Norman and CP Chem for their first chemical recycling operation in North America. We also commercialize mechanical recycling PCR products in all 4 continents, Asia, Latin America, North America, as well as Europe, and also we commercialize chemical recycling in Europe. However, I believe not only Dow, but most of the company were still relatively new into this commercial recycling space. And that's the part I feel this plug and play program gave us a lot of opportunity, and also the experience is great. The program gave us an opportunity to engage multiple startups in a very systemic way. And not only it's just through the Singapore program, Matthew, as you mentioned, we participate in the Silicon Valley and the Paris program. So I have the opportunity to discuss with the startup companies in North America and Europe, so we can learn what's going on in different regions. They may have develop different solutions because they have different issues, and then we can figure out what is the best solution for the local problem. And also, I have to say, this plug and play program is very well structured. That helps us to accelerate the process, the discussion with the startups, build a network, understand their technology. All of those make it the whole program easier. So it's a very enjoyable process. And also, as Norman mentioned early, one advice gave to the existing startups or the future startups to join the plug and play program, you shouldn't give up. The program provides an opportunity to all startup companies. The competition among those companies is really, really high. We have to screen down 50 startup companies to 10, 11. So you can tell the competition is it's very high. However, even if you didn't make to the final round, you should not give up. One example, if I may, I want to highlight is Recyca. Recyca is in the initial list in the plug and play Singapore program. Recyca is a digital technology company providing cloud-based solutions for waste management and recycling industry. However, Recyca didn't make to the final rounds of a plug and play in Singapore. Maybe it didn't fit into the program here. We found them a good fit to our strategy. So we recently launched our first digital waste management platform with them in Pune, in India. And this is a unique plastic take-back program that aims to prevent post-consumer plastic waste from going to landfills by using digital technology, connect the waste generator, aggregator, processor, and recyclers together. So far, the result is fantastic. We're very happy with our collaboration with Recyca. So my advice is never give up and keep using the plug and play program, connect with companies. You never know. Sometimes there will be an opportunity just waiting for you somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's great to hear. You found the program so enjoyable. So I know we only have a few minutes left, before we unfortunately have to wrap up this great session. So you guys have been giving a lot of advice to the startups, but what about the other member companies? You are only a handful of member companies out of the All Alliance program, but not only Alliance members are kind of tuning in today. We have corporations from all around the world, from all different industries, kind of joining us for this session. Wanting to hear what the plastic solutions are, or plastic waste solutions are, excuse me. And you mentioned, these are only a handful of startups. There are other ones. We will have another round for Singapore. We'll have other rounds for all the hubs. But just, some advice and maybe final words for the corporations that are out there that have maybe been hesitant to work with startups. So maybe, Han, I can turn it back over to you. Kick us off on this.
All right. So first of all, as I mentioned earlier, the program is very enjoyable. So don't be afraid. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's also very rewarding. You will understand those startups, build network, and you may find collaboration opportunity with them. And another thing I find is very valuable to the large corporation is it helps us to understand the bottleneck and how to better help those startup companies to solve those bottlenecks. I think we all on the same boat. We want to advance the circular economy. We want to solve this plastic waste issue. And as I said, we cannot do this alone. We need those startups. We need the innovation. We need the new technology to solve those issues. But without talking to those startups, we will never understand the bottleneck. Maybe the startups, they have a technology or a commercial challenge. They don't know how to solve it. But that's something the large corporation knows the best, how to scale up things, the technical support. If we talk to a startup, collaborate with them, then we can solve those bottlenecks, and together we can solve this plastic waste issue.
That's absolutely fantastic to hear. Everyone has different perspectives, different best practices. Norman, love to pass it to you for any kind of final comments for the other companies out there.
I must, first of all, I must admit, like I said earlier, this is the first time for me to participate in such collaboration. And coming into the program, I have a little doubt or unsure how much help we as a resin producer can actually provide to the startups that are working primarily in the waste management space, like collection, sorting, recycling, that kind of thing. But then I learned very quickly that there are other ways. There are many other ways that we can actually help them with. What I found helpful is, after a few engagement, is to always start with the question of, please tell me, or please let us know how we can help you. Instead of coming in with a preconceived notion that what you can or cannot do for them. That approach kind of often open up opportunity that you do not expect. Because some of these startup the challenges that they're facing are pretty unique, and for people like us that is coming from MNC background, sometimes you don't think of those as issue or areas that need help per se. So that approach kind of serve us pretty well. And in the process, I gained a lot of better appreciation on how startup works, and most importantly, the unique challenges that they are facing on a daily basis, how to get from one point to the other. And I think this is a very valuable process, not only benefiting the startup themselves, but also ourselves as a company. Like Hans said early on, get to know a lot more about what the other people, the important works that they are working on in the space. Collectively, we can get to better manage the plastic waste issue that we're facing today. So to all the other company, they were still thinking about whether to join such program to be a panel member. I would say it's worth it. Go for it. You wouldn't regret.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I know we're almost out of time. Ramesh, Estelle, maybe quick words of advice for all the other corporations out there.
So I think what I'd say is I'd reiterate what I said. It's about bringing perspectives together, and was an enriching experience. And I would believe that it will enable a wider landscape analysis, so to say, of what the challenges are. I think the other big message that I would have is, don't think of these hubs as region hubs. Think beyond regions, and many of these startups have the capability and global applicability. So it's about finding the right sort of balance in thinking about it. That's it.
Absolutely. Estelle, final words?
Yeah. Well, 2 points. One is, since I mentioned it's a market which experienced revolutionary change, and this change is not only about technical innovations, it's also about new business models, collection schemes, and do not doubt that small ideas can really generate big impact, and it will be through the member companies, in fact, your influence to the government or for the whole consumers to change the usual way of thinking and acting. And the second point is, I should say that we need to keep some expectations management with the startups also. We are facing them. We like them because they have good ideas. However, do not expect from the very beginning that they are acting like the big companies, So our role is really to pilot, guide, and give them more space to grow, explore, and also refine their ideas. So this should be our hero in this program.
Oh, that's great to hear. All your kind of final comments have been absolutely great advice, I think, not only to the corporations, but to everyone. So, with that, I'd love to thank you all so much for not only being part of this panel for the session, but being the panelist for the last 3 months. I know it's been tough going from the top 50 to the top 20 to the top 11. Unfortunately not having all the startups of your choice in the program, but it's great to hear that you've been still engaging and working with them, and that you're excited to see more and more startups. So thank you all today. This is not really the end, but really just the beginning of our journey with you, with these startups, and your joint collaborations together. I'd love to kind of just end on something Norman said, and ask everyone out there, let us know how we can help you. We have a lot of resources, we have a lot of expertise, a lot of passionate people all here. So please reach out to us and let us know how we can help. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to all our speakers. The panel has been very inspiring and insightful. We are now due for a 5-minute short break. We'll see you back in 5.
Hi everyone, I'm Henry and I lead sustainability ventures here in the APAC region. I've also been driving the sourcing efforts for the End Plastic Waste Innovation Platform in Singapore. I'm excited to introduce the next half of our startups to you. First up, we have Blocktex. Blocktex is an Australian clean tech company that recovers polyester and cellulose from used textiles and clothing. Take it away, Blocktex.
Blocktex is positioned at the end of the value chain, where raw materials and end-of-use solutions have the highest environmental impact and revenue potential. Adrian and I have extensive backgrounds in the fashion and textile industry. Adrian brings more than 30 years' experience running large fashion retail businesses, and I developed a sustainable textile and sportswear company. The problem of textile waste is significant. The fast fashion trend has accelerated production cycles and buying habits to the point that most clothing ends up in landfill. Due to COVID-19, export markets are now closed, making the second-hand clothing market unprofitable. And consumers are demanding more recycled content in their clothing and asking brands, what do they do with their end-of-life choices? The solution is effective resource recovery technology that diverts textiles away from landfill and can unlock the value of textile waste to deliver virgin quality recycled products back into the textile supply chain, but importantly, into many other industries. In Australia, where Blocktex is based, there is approximately 1 million tonnes of clothing sent to landfill or overseas each year. Globally, thanks to fast fashion and the 100 billion garments produced, the estimated global textile waste volumes will hit 140 million tonnes by 2030. So there's an abundance of supply, and there's also an abundance of product demand. The market demand for recycled product polyester is growing year on year, and this is currently being serviced only by recycled bottles. Blocktex has developed a patent-pending process called SOFT, separation of fibre technology, that combines chemical recovery technology and advanced manufacturing to produce high-quality recycled materials of rPET pellets and cellulose powder from textile waste. The process begins with shredding the textiles for ease of movement around the plant. The textiles then flow into a reactor where the separation occurs. Effectively, the cotton is unlocked from the polyester. Next is the washing stage to remove the cellulose powder from the polyester. The two separated materials then progress their own manufacturing lines where the polyester is melted, extruded, and pelletized, and the cellulose is packed into a slurry or freeze-dried. Blocktex has secured supply and demand contracts well over the capacity of the first state of the facility. For supply, we have divided the feedstock into 4 categories. These categories have different costs of doing business. For demand, we've targeted 3 key sectors for supply of bulk raw materials. Blocktex has been operating a pilot facility for over 12 months, working with supply and demand customers on paid trials to showcase our technology and also for further R&D. Blocktex has a strong environmental impact. We've aligned our business strategies to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Importantly, the environmental impact of the SOFT process is significant. For every 1 kilogram of textiles processed, we offset 29 kilograms of CO2 emissions. Blocktex is a highly profitable business model. We get paid by both supply and demand customers. The gate fee from supply customers subsidizes the processing costs, and we drive revenue from rPET pellet and cellulose sales. Our 2 key competitors are Titan Biosciences in the US and Warn Again in the UK. We all end up with similar end products, but our processes are different. Both companies have recently received Series A funding to build pilot plants. They are not expected to be at commercial scale until 2022. Blocktex is the only chemical separation company in the Southern Hemisphere. We've developed a highly profitable business model with strategic partners in Australia to ensure stability and growth. We're different to our competitors because our recovered products can be used in many industries, not just the textile industry. This strategy creates a wide sales funnel and flexibility in targeting markets while we scale the business. We're raising a Series A round at the moment to build and commission our first commercial scale plant at 3,800 tonnes, which will scale to 10,000 tonnes per annum. The business delivers revenue and profit in the first year of operation, and we plan to license the technology in the future. Thank you for your time.
Next up, we have Aishitva Robotic Systems. Aishitva uses AI, machine learning, and IoT to fully automate the sorting of dry waste. Let's welcome Aishitva Robotic Systems.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandeep Singh and I am CEO of Aishitva Robotic Systems. Our aim is to solve global plastic waste problem by sorting it efficiently. Plastic waste is now seen everywhere. Hardly 10% is recycled and balance either goes in landfills, in oceans or burnt away. However, if we can sort this mixed waste into various polymer categories, it can be reused and recycled. This problem is even more complex and big for low-income countries, which already generate more than 2/3 of global waste currently. On left half, you see how a high-income country segregates their waste, and on right half, a parallel scenario of a low-income country. As seen in this image, human sorting is being used to recover plastic recyclables from mixed waste. This kind of sorting is not simple, neither is scalable nor affordable. Most of the sorting technologies available today are economically not viable for these countries. This is because waste available in these countries for sorting are in small batches. However, overall volume is increasing day by day. Smaller scale material recovery facilities are a requirement in these countries. That's where we bring our solution with the use of Industry 4.0 tools. So how does it work? On left half, you see how a human eye sees the material on the conveyor belt. On right half, our Netra machine vision, how it sees the material on the conveyor belt. Our system is trained for millions and millions of waste classifier images, and it is learning every day. We are able to extract information related to polymer type, shape and size, colors, multi-layers, flexibles, and brand information as well. Using this machine vision, we have built AI-powered air sorter, AI-powered robotic sorter, and fully automated material recovery facilities. Our solutions are already being used for sorting different dry waste into multiple categories at these sorting centers. Along with capturing various recognition-related information at a very high-speed conveyor belt, our system now provides various parameters useful for operation of the plant. First time an air sorter can identify brand level of information. We are working very closely with various MRFs and trying to solve their challenges with the help of data. We are bringing power of data and information to this industry. Now they can access live monitoring and detailed level of analytics of the facilities running. Further, we extended our capabilities to link this information with the ERP systems, provide sales predictions, enable inventory management. In a way, we are becoming an information backbone for the MRFs of future. We are building our business with a clear vision where we capture and use data of every stage of sorting operations and become an enabler to circular value chain of plastic. As more and more sorting centers will adopt our technologies, we will gather information about material being processed at these centers. This is an immensely valuable information for the recyclers. We see ourselves evolving into a platform connecting sorting facilities with the recyclers. This is us. While I take care of business, Hidesh ensures technology is top-notch, and Sandeep Patel makes sure that we are in sync with the industry requirement. We are raising $4 million, and now we have some firm commitments from some global leading investors. Our experience with plug and play and Alliance to End Plastic has been very useful to structure our thoughts and ideas better. Thank you, guys.
Our next startup is from Myanmar. Myanmar Recycles specializes in post-consumer plastic waste and film. They collect and recycle the plastic into resin for international and domestic sales. Let's welcome Myanmar Recycles.
Hi, I'm Mimi Wu, co-founder and CEO of Myanmar Recycles. We're a mechanical recycler for PE film and HDPE bottles based in Yangon, Myanmar. When we built this company, my parents were the first investors. But before they gave any money, my mom asked, "What's your plan B if this doesn't work out?" I told her, "Mom, there is no plan B. There's only this plan." And that's the same as our home. There is no planet B. There's only this planet. So let's talk about the humble plastic bag that's turning our oceans into plastic soup. It's convenient, super useful, and generally free. But once the bag, also known as film, has served its single purpose, most of the waste is not collected or recycled because our global recycling industry finds dirty film too difficult, and it requires specialized technical competency beyond what is required for clean film and dirty bottles. Myanmar generates 3,000 tons of single-use plastic bag waste every day, and this will only grow as the country develops. Because film is globally undervalued, requires strong competency to recycle, and because the country is only starting to modernize its waste management, most of Myanmar's film is mismanaged, and half of it ends up in riverways. Last year, it was found that Myanmar's Irrawaddy River was the 9th most polluted river in the world. Right now, the country is writing its waste management and plastic action plans, and Myanmar Recycles is seizing the opportunity to shape the country toward a zero plastic waste future. We play a vital role transforming what is typically a linear life cycle for plastic into a circular one. Our strength lies in our technical know-how and experience reclaiming the dirtiest landfill bags into film-grade pellets. We start by collecting post-consumer PE film ourselves from Myanmar's largest landfill through a long-term agreement with Yangon's government. We also purchase HDPE bottles through domestic aggregators, and we domestically source and import post-industrial PE film. We are the only recycler in Myanmar to hold a legal import license for film scrap, and this helps finance our efforts to tackle ignored post-consumer plastic pollution domestically. We then sort, wash, and pelletize the materials. We're seeking ocean-bound plastic certification for our post-consumer products. Our installed capacity is 2,400 tons per year, and we're actively seeking to fully optimize. Our business is built for scale, and we had our first exports to China and India this year. The domestic market values our products, and demand is larger than our current output. And in fact, Myanmar's largest bag maker is an anchor customer. What's most exciting is that global and domestic brands are interested in our product, and we're working on ways to collaborate together. Depicted through the green line, our competitive strength lies in our technical know-how of washing post-consumer film, particularly compared to other Southeast Asian and Myanmar film recyclers, most of which only recycle clean film. Our strong ENS compliance has led to supply secured by Myanmar's local and national governments, and we're receiving global recognition for our work, as well as accreditation for our products and our collection process. While we lag behind in volume compared to regional recyclers, we're actively fundraising to increase our production capacity, and we already have the supply to match it. Post-fundraising, we expect increased volume, leading to a strong and well-rounded company. Henry and I co-founded the company and lead a local team with 26 production staff. We also receive financial and strategic support from one of our directors, Kevin Murphy. We're raising $1.5 million to grow our business that will quadruple our production capacity across all 3 products, and will manufacture a finished product that diverts even more post-consumer plastic film from the waste stream. We're also seeking branded off-takers for these goods. Thank you so much for joining Myanmar Recycles today. We hope to work with you as we build a zero plastic waste future.
Our next 2 startups are based in India. Plastics for Change developed a global marketplace connecting markets to waste collectors. This ensures a consistent supply of high-quality recycled plastics for these brands. Let's welcome Plastics for Change.
Plastics for Change has developed an ethical sourcing platform to make it easy for brands and manufacturers to source a consistent supply of high-quality recycled plastic from responsible supply chains. This initiative is all about making it easy for the industry to make that transition away from fossil fuel-based plastic and to create better livelihoods for some of the poorest people in society. So how does this work? Well, we start by engaging with brands and manufacturers, and we design their supply chain in advance. So for example, with the Body Shop, we realized that they needed thousands of tons of PET every year, and we created a project plan to help them reach that goal. And a really important part of this is stabilizing the price. So we reached a 3-year price stabilization agreement with them. This allows us, Plastics for Change, to go and engage with the informal waste economy. So we have our field workers go and talk to all these scrap shops, these aggregators. And because we have the price stabilized, we're able to guarantee that it's profitable for them. These aggregators can accumulate the plastic in bulk and they don't have to worry about the price falling. However, they must use the right social and environmental behaviors. And so we have an ethical sourcing platform, a mobile app, where they're able to issue these buy-sell transactions, building transparency and accountability through the supply chain, and ultimately getting the right quality standards. So in every zone, every city, we have one large aggregator where we have a full-time quality control person who's certifying that the right quality control methodology has been implemented. And that's how we've been able to create a process for making bottles back into bottles, creating HDPE also back into bottles, polypropylene, and ultimately trying to create markets, creating value for all the plastics that are contaminating the environment today. So by creating these shared value chains, we're able to create better livelihood opportunities for those at the base of the informal recycling economy. The waste pickers in India are some of the most marginalized people in the world, just the poorest people out there. They're going out and trying to get a livelihood by picking up and recycling the plastic that would otherwise be entering the environment, ending up in all these places we don't want. So by creating the predictable income opportunity and also ensuring that they have access to healthcare, education, and social services, that is really what they need to go and create better opportunities for themselves. By creating these livelihoods that are picking up the plastic, getting it into the supply chain, we're ultimately bringing the recycling infrastructure and the equipment to the communities that need it the most. We will be expanding our ethical sourcing platform and bringing these recycling systems to communities that need it the most. By transitioning the informal sector towards a more formal recycling system, we can create better livelihood opportunities while reducing our dependence on fossil fuel-based plastics. Thank you so much.
Our next startup is Repel. Repel recycles 100% mixed waste plastics from Indonesia into logistic pallets for sale across Asia. Let's welcome Repel.
Hi, I'm Stephen Bohill, CEO and President Director of Repel Indonesia, and I'm very pleased to be part of this Alliance to End Plastic Waste and Plug and Play initiative. In 2019, Repel recycled over 5,800 tons of plastic, which is over 580 million plastic bags. And we recycle our plastic into pallets. In 2016, we set up a large factory in East Java, where we have 10 production lines operational, and we are ready to scale with 82 staff recycling plastic every day. We're recycling plastic into pallets. The pallet industry is a huge industry globally with over 7 billion pallets in circulation. And the trend of plastic is replacing timber pallets and also replacing virgin plastic pallets with many climate and sustainability initiatives in place through things like Climate Action 100. In Indonesia, where we're based, it's the second worst polluter of plastic in the world. and we are keen to see our operation expand and help that problem in Indonesia. There is a logging ban to enforce or to try and restrict the amount of timber used in pallets, but the trend should be to use plastic and use recycled plastic. And there is an extended producer responsibility extended producer responsibility legislation in place by the Indonesian government to help with that drive towards recycling packaging, and we're helping recycle it into pallets. Repal is a perfect circular economy solution. We take waste plastic, we recycle it into pallets, and at the end of life, we can recycle the pallet itself back into new pallets with other mixed waste. So we believe we're a perfect circular economy solution. We use thermofusion to bind different types of plastic together. It's proven IP, Repal's IP. We take HDPE, PP and LDPE, and we're also taking now other commercial packaging. So that could be multi-layer waste, or it could be sachet waste from large FMCGs, multinationals who want to actually try and transform this waste into an asset. We have a large group of repeat clients. We're lucky with that. And increasingly, we are doing new projects with other clients, such as Nestle, where we built a purpose-built pallet for them, Danone, where we took their OPP label waste, and LF Logistics, where they used us to replace some pooling pallets. We also have a lot of companies now testing with us, testing their plastic waste, including Indofood, including Unilever, including L'Oreal, Nutrifood, where we can take the multi-layer or laminated waste into our pallets. We have a take-back scheme at the end of life, so we can reuse the pallets. And we have an experienced management team in place who have been leading the turnaround of the plastic pallet business since 2018. So what would we use the funds for? If we were grant funded any money by Alliance to End Plastic Waste, we'd add additional wash plant capacity. We would add geographic collection areas. We would add new pallet molds, and we would add a new cutting machine where we have a bottleneck currently by only having one cutting machine in place in the factory. Overall, we believe Repal is a perfect circular economy solution. We hope we're successful with this application, and plastic should not end up in the ocean. It should be recycled. Thanks very much.
Next up, we have Polycycle. Polycycle's patented technology chemically recycles waste plastics into petrochemical feedstock. This feedstock is then used to manufacture new monomers and plastics. Take it away, Polycycle.
My name is Amit Tandon, and I'm founder and CEO at Polycycle. We are a circular economy company that is focused on building advanced solutions for chemical recycling of unrecyclable waste plastics, and also for upcycling of post-consumer waste plastic streams. Happy to have this opportunity today to share our work with the plug-and-play ecosystem. At Polycycle, we have, working over the past now almost 10 years, developed multiple technologies that are presently at different stages of development. Our flagship technology is what we call the ContiFlow Cracker. It is a patented, fully continuous pyrolysis process which converts landfill plastics to high-quality distillates using a highly scalable technology. Today's presentation is going to largely focus on this part of our work. However, we also have 4 additional technologies at TRL 4 level, including a very aspirational and promising technology for delamination, de-inking, and recycling of flexible, multi-layered packaging films. Aside, we have technologies that use solvent-based methods for purification and upcycling of PET, HDPE, and Tetra Pak packaging. The ContiFlow Cracker technology converts low-grade polyolefin plastics and polystyrene to high-value hydrocarbon distillates. Importantly, it does so using a patented, fully continuous process. Why is this important? Well, unlike a batch process, a continuous architecture allows ease of scale and makes it possible for Polycycle to deliver plants that deploy single modular lines, each processing up to 75 tons per day. Multiple such lines can be strung together to execute plants that can process several 100,000 tons of waste plastic at one single location. Further, the ability to generate high economic value distillates and build plants at scale unleashes tremendous economic efficiencies, including project EBITDAs that exceed 50% and IRRs that are north of 20-25%. Polycycle commissioned India's first fully continuous plastic-to-fuel pilot demonstration plant. The first benchtop unit was set up as far back in 2010. Over the next several years, we completed 4 generations of technology development that moved the technology through successive stages of batch, semi-continuous, and now a fully continuous architecture, while also upgrading the fuels to obtain decontaminated distillates that have carbon distribution largely between C5 and C26. Here's a photograph of the demo plant. For those interested, there's also a link below to a video that you could check out later. The final fuel coming from the process is the high-quality hydrocarbon distillate, as you can see here, and it has been approved by Petromajor for steam cracking and manufacturing of new monomers and virgin plastics. The technology is patented across several international patents, and these here are copies of our US patent grants. Today, we have a high readiness to implement the technology at large scale. We are presently in discussion with several global Fortune 500 companies towards future implementation in India and elsewhere. One of the projects we are working to build is a 100-ton per day plant in India, where feedstock would be supplied by GeoCycle, an AAPW member company. The project shall process polyolefin plastics extracted from post-consumer and landfill-based streams, the actual photos of which you can see here. The project would fetch an estimated EBITDA higher than 50% and have a quick payback period of 2 to 3 years. To put this and other projects on the ground, we are looking to do a syndicate raise, which is open to both institutional and strategic investors. The round size is flexible, and we are looking at a minimum investment of USD 2 million per investor. We already have some soft commitments for the round, as also discussions with other companies that have expressed keenness to participate. As a company, we at Polycycle are looking to chemically recycle 200,000 tons of landfill-based plastics by 2026 and 600,000 tons by 2030. If this is a goal that excites you as much as it does us, we would be happy to connect with you and share with you more about our journey and our future goals. Thank you so much.
Last but not least, we have Recosystem from Indonesia. Recosystem provides end-to-end digital waste management solutions. Take it away, Recosystem.
Hi, my name is Ernest Lehman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Recosystem, the end-to-end zero waste management startup. So all eyes in sustainability in Indonesia. There are targets to reduce 30% of waste to the landfill by 2025. All the financial institutions and public companies need to do sustainable financing starting this year onwards. Meanwhile, the market is not ready yet. Only 9% of waste gets segregated. Landfills are still the preferred solution. 70% of waste end up there. And the cost of doing zero waste management is high because of the waste mismanagement. It's more than 20% than it should be. The market potential is big. This is around 15 billion USD market potential with only 20% well penetrated. So our model is to realize the ideal waste value chain that the waste can get segregated from the beginning and then pick it up based on its type and treated with the eco-friendly method. So we provide the zero waste management platform that will connect three main stakeholders: the user, the waste management partner, and also the supporter. We will take charge based on the transaction happen in the platform. 5% for the transaction of the waste management products, 10% from the waste management services, and then 20% for any sales of the inorganic waste that is valuable in the market. So our products will provide features that will be fit with each stakeholder. For the user, we provide the affordable and also the reliable zero waste management for the residential area, public spaces, and also individual users. For the partner, we collaborate with the existing player of the waste management actors and companies that already expert in the area, and we will improve their productivity and also their revenue. Last but not least, the user, the government, and also the financial institution. We will provide the sustainable program for them to do a funding and can get a report of the sustainability impact on the sustainability program and also do sustainability branding. So we also provide the products from our partners, consists of the waste collection through segregated waste pickup, digital waste collection process for the waste management actors and also public spaces, and waste treatment, waste to energy specific for the organic waste in this stage. So our go-to-market strategy starting with the alignment with the government. So we want to ensure our focus align with their priorities. We do the collaboration with the existing player to make it more scalable. We also do B2B and B2C into the user, the targeted user. And also last but not least, the sustainability financing with the financial institution. Currently, we have processed 10 tons of organic waste and 1 ton of inorganic waste in a monthly basis, and already penetrated into the B2B and the B2C user. So we positioning as the company that provide the waste management service, encourage the sustainability living, and also provide the waste processor that is scalable and eco-friendly. So this is founded by 2 founders, me as the business person and Joshua as the ops guy, and supported with the 8 team members. And we raised fund for the 350,000 USD for aggressive expansion and build capable team. So that's all about the ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really enjoyed having you here to see these 11 amazing startups and hear about our panel of member companies that have been going through this program. We hope you enjoyed the session, and we hope you got a lot of great information from it. So for those of you who are joining us for our Singapore showing, we do have a networking session immediately after this through Remo. So please make sure to sign on to that in a few minutes. And before we let you go, we also would like to invite you to our Shanghai launch that's taking place in about 24 hours from right now. That's happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. Shanghai time, where we're going to be launching the Plug and Play and Alliance to End Plastic Waste Accelerator Program for China, where we're going to find and accelerate the local startups in that region, all with the mission of ending plastic waste in China, and then later help them grow into different markets. So please make sure to join us for that. And again, thank you so much for your time. And please let us know if you have any other questions. And please feel free to reach out if you'd like to get involved. Thank you.